vacation and fresh, renewed, and thank God for the experience of going over there. It was great. It was great to see my family. I hadn't seen in 30 years. A lot of them I had never met before, and there was some that didn't actually remember me. Some of them my own age, but it was a good experience. It was good. Overall for the family and everything. We got to do everything, so it was good. Today's title is Change Comes When God Comes First. It's just something the Lord brought me today. And, part of me going to LA was, he wouldn't have been able to give me this word before I went to LA. So, this morning I was just writing, and I said, wow. And it just sort of, it made more sense now that I came back. What he brought to me, that he wanted me to bring to all of you, makes more sense. But I wrote a couple of things down. I'm gonna you guys go to Genesis 12. I'm gonna read from Genesis 12. But before that, while you're getting that, I wrote a couple of things down. And it says, there comes times in our lives when we should take time to analyze ourselves and ask ourselves. And I didn't put this plural because it's tough, to each one of us as an individual. If we are happy where we are in this particular time in our life, we can get stuck in a cycle of doing the same thing and not getting new results. Us as individuals, each one of us. Because of this cycle, we live in conformity to our current situation. We block out the fact that changes can be made to improve our lives. Like sometimes we don't realize that we're just happy where we are. We don't realize that we could improve. And not necessarily saying that what we're going through right now is something that's bad or that's negative, but there's improvements that can be made. And making these changes, putting God first is the way we should do it. And a lot of times, I think he brought this subject to me because a lot of things that I was going through or making changes in, I wasn't. I was not putting God first. Me personally, I was not putting God first. And, say the same thing for my wife in certain aspects of her life and my life. We weren't putting God first. It was just we were trying to make changes, but God wasn't first. And not to say that things don't work out, but when you put God first, I don't know, it just works out better. Where I'm at right now, I can't see myself making any moves, any changes, nothing without God. And that's where I want everybody to get to this point, to that point where okay, well, I have to do this, but is that what you want me to do, God? All right, well, I'm gonna go to the book of Genesis 12. You guys already have it. I'm just going to read the first 12, the first couple of verses in it. I wonder what's blurry. And I'm going to read from 1 to 5. We're going to read to 5. The Lord had said to Abram, this is before Abraham, before God changed his and Sarah's name. The Lord had said to Abram, leave your country, your people, and your father's household, and go to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. And all peoples on earth will be blessed through you. So Abram left as the Lord had told him, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he set out from Haran. He took his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, all the possessions they had accumulated, and the people they had acquired in Haran. And they set out for the land of Canaan, and they arrived there. I originally was just going to read the first verse, but I thought it was important that to note that in the last 4 and 5, I think it is. God put in there that Abraham already had possessions and the people he had acquired. So in other words, he had people who worked for him. So he had possessions. He had, let's be honest, they were probably slaves or whatever, or his workers or whatever. But he had wealth, some type of wealth, where he was well off, and he didn't need nothing. And God, came to him and said, "Look, take all that and move, and I'm going to bless you even more." He asked him to make a change. And I'm pretty sure it's, just in the Bible it just goes through, it just speaks in general terms. But it had to be a tough decision for him, to leave where you're comfortable at, and where you had acquired already, something, wealth, and he hadn't changed his name yet, but I'm pretty sure Abraham was maturing a little bit more in his spiritual world, trusting more in God. So this, it not only takes a lot of nerve, physically, a lot of nerve to get up and move, but also spiritually speaking, God was asking him to do this through faith, and the spiritual world, that's something big, because faith is something that you don't know what it is, and a big part of change is faith, and taking that step. I wrote some things down here about. I'm going to stick to my notes, because when I don't stick to my notes, then we get a 2-hour service. I don't want to do a 2-hour service. But I wrote down some of the reasons why we don't want to make a change sometimes. And I'm just gonna. These are like things that we go through here. Distractions or something like distractions that will keep us from making a change to improve our lives. And this is I'm going to go through those, and then I also wrote down I'm going to go through that first. Some of the reasons why we don't make a change could be I split that into 2 categories: on the mental side and on the physical side. On the mental side, it could be our feelings. Our feelings get involved. Our emotions, where we can't handle the change of doing something different. And we just have our mindset that we, if we make that change, we're gonna break down. And have a mental break. Another one on the mental side, which guilty. I'm guilty of is stubbornness. Just being stubborn and not wanting to make a change. Yeah, I admit it. All right. You like that? But my stubbornness. It just kept me from thinking that I'm good. I don't need to change, or I don't want to change. And I don't care what you say. That's the way it is, and that's the way it's going to stay. So my stubbornness. On the mental side, we could pretty much we get the picture, just from those 2. On the physical side, I wrote down like 4 of them, but there's more. 4 that that I myself and my wife that we personally went through. One of them, our jobs. Our jobs could keep us from not wanting to, to change, where our job is our life. And because we feel that our job is the center of our life, we don't want to make the change. It makes us timid, or it makes us scared, or whatever the case may be. I wrote that one for the men. Sometimes, sports. Sometimes sports could be something that keeps us from wanting to change. I know it seems silly, but to us men, I went through a period of my life where Sundays football, I was watching the 1 o'clock game, the 4 o'clock game, the 8 o'clock game, Monday night, and when Thursday came, I had to watch all that. I had to watch all the baseball, it was like a big part of my life. It took up like everything, I didn't want to change. It might seem like something that doesn't, but it could affect their lives. With women, it could be. I'm only going to write one down because I don't want to be too controversial. I don't want to get beat up in church. But sometimes women can be too obsessed with their physical appearance. And it might be something that consumes them, and where it takes up. It becomes their life. Some of these women, they might have, like, you go into their room and it's just like a whole closet of makeup, all these, accessories that they have to have, and they're saving up money for the latest surgeries or whatever the case may be. But physical appearance, it might be something that consumes their life, not wanting to make that change. I'm just going to write one more down. I'm going to mention one other one because I think it's an important one. Sometimes our family, like our family members, we get consumed with, our whole obsession is, a mother, a father, a brother, a son, a daughter, where our whole life is dedicated to just, that's our whole world. Say, for instance, maybe, your mom is your mom, and that's it. I don't care about anything else. I'm not, you don't realize that. And I'm mentioning all this because it gets to the point where you don't realize you're not putting God first. Where you don't see the benefit of flipping them around, where if you put God first, your mom will be taken care of, or your son, or your daughter, or, and we don't want to make that change. And, me personally, got to, I was obsessed with, finding my mother, and, finding out all these questions, and, I was putting her first in my life, and it just is something that consumed me. The only one who really knows is my wife, but it's just something that, and I didn't put God first. I just put, my mom, me finding her and wanting to know and wanting her to be part of my life, and while she's sitting home, fine, and I'm the one suffering, and it was, it was eating me up, consuming me, and I decided to make a change, and put God first, and let God worry about putting my mom in my life. Some of these are some of the reasons why we don't want to make a change, and I just wanted to put those scenarios there for you, and I also wanted to go over some changes that we can make. I'm going to go over the first one. The first change that we can make is for the worse. I'm going to go to the book of Numbers. And I'm going to read from 31, Numbers 16, Numbers 16. going to read from 31 to 35. Everybody has it? Amen? The word of the Lord reads, As soon as he finished saying all this, the ground under them split apart, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them, with their households and all Korah's men and all their possessions. They went down alive into the grave, and everything they owned, and the earth closed over them. And they perished and were gone from the community. At their cries, all the Israelites around them fled, shouting, The earth is going to swallow us too. And fire came out from the Lord and consumed the 250 men who were offering the incense. This is a story about Korah down in Abiram, where they try to revolt against Moses, and they wanted change, but it was change for the worse. They didn't realize that Moses had put God first, and them in their closed mindset, they only had in their mind that they wanted a different kind of change. They didn't realize that Moses was being led by God. God gave him all the signs. At night he would have the column of fire. During the day, the column of smoke. They were being led. They didn't understand the phenomenon that was going on. That they didn't have this in Egypt. This is like, what else do you want? And they still didn't get it. They wanted change, but they didn't realize that their change that they wanted was for the worse. I'm going to go to the book of Matthew, and I'm going to go to chapter 19. Matthew's the Gospels, first of the Gospels. 19. I'm going to read 21 and 22. This is the story about the young prince, the young rich prince. And in 21, Jesus says, Jesus answered, If you want to be perfect, go sell your possessions and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then come follow me. When the young man had heard this, he went away sad because he had great wealth. This is another instance of change, But, what this young rich prince went away understanding was that the change that he wanted, God couldn't give him because it wasn't God-centered, and he went away sad, and he didn't do it, from my understanding. He walked away, he didn't want to give up all his possessions. And, I think Jesus was talking more about, not only his possessions, but his way of being, giving up yourself, giving up our selfishness, our ways of being, and come follow me. Don't worry about that. I'm going to be the one to provide for you. And, the change he wanted is the change that he wanted. It wasn't, God-centered. And, he walked away sad. And sometimes, the change that we want, after we make the change, we don't feel good, and, we have to sit back and analyze. I made this change and I thought it was good, and how come, I'm not sad, and, this young prince gives us the perfect example that, sometimes, or a lot of times, we do things because we're selfish, and we don't want to, make the change that God wants us to make. All right. The second change that, second type of change that we have is for the better. I'm going to go to the book of Luke 1. Still in the Gospels. I'm just going to read a couple verses from there. read 28. Luke 1:28 to 31. The angel went to her and said, "Greetings, you who are highly favored, the Lord is with you." Mary was greatly troubled at his words and wondered what kind of greeting this might be. But the angel said to her, "Do not be afraid, Mary. You have found favor with God. You will be with child and give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus." This was a change for the better. She still, she was a little timid about it. It says in verse 29, Mary was greatly troubled at his words. In other words, she knew there was change that had to be done, but she was still troubled. But Mary, she made the decision that night. We go to verse 38 in that same chapter, and it reads, "I'm the Lord's servant," Mary answered. May it be to me as you have said." Then the angel left her. She made the decision then and there, that God did send somebody to tell me to make this change. He sent his angel, and she was decisive after that. Let it be, as you want, God. And change for the better is something that we come across through prayer, through meditation, to being sensitive to the Holy Spirit, to practicing to be sensitive to the Holy Spirit, and just being aware, and analyzing ourselves and what God wants us to do, and in this day and age with everything hurry, rush, sometimes it's hard to do that, but if it's going to be a change for the good, then I'm bringing this because it should be something that we should incorporate into our lives. Making changes to improve ourselves, improve our lives, improve our families' lives, and it's what God wants. We tend to forget, that I don't think God wants us to stay, stuck in the same thing all the time. It's not always about, as drastic as, Abraham when he had to move all the way to Canaan, pick up everything, not that drastic, but, through improvement come changes. And that only comes through taking the time to analyze prayer and meditation and God, asking God, what changes is it that we should make? The third one I came up with, I was surprised, that, I was like, Lord, all right, I thought it was just change for the worse, it changed for the better. And kind of shocked me, but, there's another type of change, the changes that God makes on his own. Thank God, thank you, Lord, that, there is changes that you make on your own, and he took me to Jonah. Jonah had a mission. God had changes in store for Jonah in his life. I'm not going to go to the book. You guys, for the most part, know the story. If you want to read it, God told him, I want you to go to the city. You're going to change lives. And Jonah was like, oh no. He got on a ship and he went the opposite direction. And God said, yeah, you are going. And he wrecked the ship, and Jonah wound up in a whale, and the whale spit him up into the city that he was supposed to go to. But God, sometimes when he's going to make changes, he makes sure they get made. It brings up the question about free will. Do we have total free will? I mean, we do have free will, but I don't know if it's 100% complete, because there is times when God steps in, my trip to LA was a time when I found out that God, He stepped in our lives, I found out from my uncle, I don't know if I told anybody the stories, but my mom, she was going through a rough period in her life, and she wasn't mentally stable, and she was ready to give us up for adoption, and she was taking us to different adopted parents, and we were doing the tours of all these people's houses, and she was just done with us. She knew she was going to give us up, abandon us. So I found out through my uncle that well, the thing is that God, no matter what, He had His plan. He had His plan laid out for me, my brother, and my two sisters. And right before we came to Philadelphia, my mother took us to my uncle's house, and she told my uncle, she said, "Look, just take the kids, stay with them. I can't be with them anymore." And my uncle, she just brought it up out of the blue, and it wasn't something that he could make a decision on then and there. So I guess that night we wound up going back home or whatever, and my uncle thought about it. He talked to his family and whatever, and it took him a week to make the decision. But when he made the decision, he went to go pick us up, and he lived in East LA, and we lived in Central LA. A week later, he went to go pick us up. My mom had already sent us to Philadelphia. So, it just goes to show that, it just reminded me of Jonah. Like, no matter what, God spit us up in Philadelphia. It was meant for us to be there. And I thank God. It was, I don't look at it as something negative now. I came to find my wife here and my kids and my sister. She had all her kids here, and she found her husband. My brother has his kid. So good came from it. All our children were meant to be born here and grow up here. God stepped in. So God does make changes. We, as ezekiel37ministry, we never intended to start the church, and God spit it up. He's like, split us up into to here, and He said, "You're going to start the church." And now we're being more obedient, and we're moving forward. Why should we make a change? We should always look to make improvements. This only comes through positive changes after taking a realistic look at our current situation. My old boss, he's actually a friend of mine now. His name is Mel. He, one time, he always, he's like 70-something years old. He's a very wise guy. He's got a lot of money, buildings, owns a hotel, whatever. But, and because of all this, I listen to him a little more. So, because he's a very humble guy. He doesn't really brag too much, or he's like very approachable. And because of his humbleness, I know he had humble beginnings, and like any advice I get from him, I try and soak it in. One time he said, what, for instance, he said, every 5 years, I make an analysis on my life, and I make changes. I look at everything from my personal, financial, mental, everything. Just take a look at everything every 5 years, and I make changes. And because he's also like funny too. He said, one year I decided I don't look good in jeans no more. Because I'm too old. And I said, okay, all right. But just the concept itself, it made a lot of sense. What he said, and even though 5 years is a long time, I guess he's a little older for him. But 5 years is a lot of time for us to not make the right decisions. So maybe it should, me personally, I just, I want you guys to come up with with your own. Maybe every 2 years. People have the New Year's resolution. Every year, I don't think it's enough time to get something going or whatever. But in our own personal lives, like every year, take a time where you analyze, your personal, your financial, your mental. Take everything, break it down, and say to yourself, I think I need to make changes here. I need to make improvements. And this is what it's mostly about. It's not about criticizing where you're at or anything. It's just about moving on, changing, making improvements. Me, my wife, my children, our lives, our financial, our personal. My wife likes to write everything down. She's a great help in that. I think writing it down and breaking it down into something good, because it's good to cross-check. To go back and say, okay, well, personal, me and Jai, we have to go out on more dates or something like that, and then we can look and say, oh, we're going to change the dates, but we only went on 2 dates this whole year, just something to go back. And then everything, our spiritual life, everything. I think, this is something for all of us. And that's it. I'm going to leave it there.